Alright, Spencer. Let's do this and see where you're going. He was already out the gate by the time I left the house. I peeked out in time to see him vanish into the trees. Damn it! Okay, I was going to have to catch up and drag him back. I didn't know what he was up to, but this wasn't the time for it. Somewhere at the back of my mind, I did have a strange thought. What if he was like me? What if he was a changeling too? What if he was sleepwalking like me? Yes, probably to the third one. But I'm still calling it as a raven. Was that even possible? I quickened my pace, hurrying to catch up. But I didn't know where he'd gone. I didn't know if I was going the right direction. I stopped inside the tree line, listening for movement. Spencer? There was no answer. I was trying not to be too loud, didn't want to wake anyone up. A hand covered my mouth. I started to struggle.
Hold her! What does it look like I'm doing? Then hold her tighter. He's going to be pissed if you screw this up, and neither of us want to deal with him pissed.
Those voices. I whipped my head around, catching sight of Spencer's face behind me. What the hell are you doing? Something was wrong. Definitely wrong. He looked terrified, distraught. He had something in his hands. A bucket? What is... Sir? He overturned it on my head, drenching me from head to foot. The first thing that popped into my head was the story of how people would burn changelings to reveal them. Oh my god! I struggled against the hands holding me frantically. Don't burn me again, you jerk! Okay, but it doesn't smell like gasoline. It was just water? It was... Wait. Was it water? It smelled funny, like... Ugh. Why did I suddenly feel weird? Oh no, I hope it's not the draft, because that said not to bathe in it. What are you...
Stop talking!
I suddenly realized where I'd heard that voice before. It was Matthew, Adrian's friend. Freaking Matthew! Called it! Freaking... I knew you didn't have a Sprite for nothing! I tried to wrench my arms free, ignoring the tingling that was creeping its way down from the top of my head. Let go of... I let out a short scream as Matthew grabbed a handful of hair and yanked my head back hard.
Stop it! Adrian said not to hurt her!
Oh, so it's the Three Musketeers, is it?
She won't be hurt from this much.
Why is my throat so tight? He shoved me down into the wet leaves, but I didn't have the strength to move. My vision blurred as the tingling turned to burning. Yeah, that's why it said don't bathe in it. Why?
We're just doing this to get you back. Sorry, but it's probably going to hurt a little since you're not kneeling in a 7-pointed star. But Adrian's already waiting by that fairy hill to find you.
So you have to kneel in a 7-pointed star. Interesting. I wasn't referring to the 7 drops. Okay. Man, these vampires know a lot about that. Who did we tell the riddle to? Or do vampires just know this stuff? The riddle? He was talking about the riddle. But why? How? I had more questions, but it felt like my entire body burst into flames. Poor Rule. I curled into a fetal position as the burning ripped down my spine into the ends of my fingers and toes. Spencer was standing above me, looking stricken. I hope you look more than that. When I get my hands on you, we're gonna have fisticuffs. Why was he doing this? What are they trying to do? I glared up at him from the ground. You are so dead. And that was the last I remembered of that. Alright, I didn't realize we were so close to the end of the chapter last time. I thought there was going to be a whole thing about chasing through the bog, but apparently not. Alright, chapter 11, Forbidden Fairy Fruits. Alright, it's the day before Samhain. It's cold. Everything was dark, and a deep chill permeated every fiber of my being. Cold air rushed over me, creeping into my clothes and tangling my hair. It felt like I was flying. Or falling. Someone was holding me, though, carrying me. I felt like I was being laid gently down, and then a voice whispered in my ear. I couldn't make out what it was saying. It was raspy and soft and so familiar. Goodbye. I woke with a start. Pulling myself to sitting position, I groaned. The crackle of dried leaves immediately caught my attention. I rubbed anxiously at the side of my head as I looked around. Outside. It felt like my head was full of cotton and my thoughts were struggling to travel through it all. My body was heavy and weird. I shook my head, trying to clear the fog. Outside. Woods. Disjointed thoughts tried to connect into complete sentences, but it was so hard to think straight. Is this a dream? No. I had just been dreaming, hadn't I? And then I woke up. I realized I was curled at the base of a tree. Using it for support, I got shakily to my feet. My body was tingly. I rubbed my hands together, trying to rid myself of the feeling of ants marching across them. Where am I? My jumbled thoughts were still trying to catch up to my current situation. I was outside. That much I'd finally grasped. I was in the woods. The woods? How far from the city am I? How did I even get here? Okay, so we've got amnesia again. I had to have wandered off again, but how long ago? I couldn't work out what my last coherent memory was. I had been in a room that I didn't recognize. No. Wait, that was my room. Why were my memories so messed up? There were faces and names and places that I knew I should recognize, but I wasn't able to piece them together properly. We were... the house in the city. No. Wait, we moved. We moved back home. I stood up straight as parts of it rushed back to me. That's right. We moved back home several weeks ago. That room had been my bedroom. I was in my bedroom earlier and then what? Disconnected images flashed through my mind. A backyard, the woods. I definitely wandered off again. I assumed anyway. That was the only thing I could think of. I knew I'd been sleepwalking, but why? Why hadn't I told Mom about it? It was a secret. I knew it was a secret, but I couldn't remember why. Ugh. I dragged my hand through my hair in frustration, trying to get my stupid brain to work. Whoa! When did my hair get so long? I held out several long locks, realizing it was past my waist. Okay. I definitely didn't remember letting it grow. I hated letting my hair get this long. It was too much of a pain to deal with. What on earth had happened? Man, my memories are really a mess. And not just the ones about wandering off. All of them. I smacked my face slightly, trying to snap myself out of it. Not the time to worry about fashion. I needed to figure out how long I'd been gone and how to get back home. That was the important thing right now. There was a loud crack behind me, and I whirled around, heart in my throat. A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I steadied myself against the tree as I stared into the shadows. Is someone there? I said, like I'm in a horror film. My voice was so hoarse and weird, like I hadn't used it in a while. Something moved slightly, then came toward me. I prepared myself to run, just in case it was something hungry. But instead, a boy about my age stepped out from under the trees, without gloves. Something about him tugged at my memory. He was kind of familiar. Do I know him?
So this is where you were. Thank goodness. I was worried I wouldn't find you.
He's definitely talking to me like he knows me, but it was weird. He was alone, and come to think of it, I didn't hear any evidence of actual search parties. No people shouting my name, no flashlights visible through the trees. If I'd been missing because I wandered off like I had in the past, I would have heard other people looking for me, right? What's really going on here? I eyed the boys suspiciously, unsure what to say.
What's wrong?
Yeah, let's not admit to amnesia just at the moment, especially not to gloveless Adrian. I thought you were a bear. I couldn't pinpoint why, but for some reason the guy made me nervous. He looked fine, normal, good looking even. Meh. But somehow seeing him had me feeling more on edge than I had been when I was alone.
No, sorry. It's just me.
Not being a bear isn't typically something you have to apologize for. Who are you? The boy grinned and came closer, but I sidled away, trying to keep some distance between us.
What's wrong? You're acting like you don't trust me.
Are you alone?
Yeah, I am.
He narrowed his eyes and took another step. I countered by taking another step back.
Do you not know who I am?
Should I? He was definitely surprised by that. Well, so much for faking the amnesia.
I see. That's interesting.
Interesting? He seemed to almost be talking to himself rather than me. He looked up and smiled slightly.
No, it's nothing. Was just talking to myself, that's all.
Who are you?
My name is Adrian Wallace. We go to school together.
School. I racked my brain, trying to pull up any memory of school. Spencer and I had started back to Stone Circle. A few faces flashed through my head. A dark-haired boy with gold eyes, Danny. A boy with purple hair, Elliot. Allie. A pink-haired boy. Oh, you remember Jason. I frowned. A tall, blonde. Somehow I felt sad and frustrated when I remembered him. Aw. But the guy in front of me...
Wow, you really don't remember, do you?
I just said I don't. What's going on right now? You don't seem to be part of a search party. I don't hear anyone else. How did I get out here, and how did you know about it?
I can explain everything if you just come with me.
Explain now. I'm definitely not going with someone I don't know. For all I know, you kidnapped me and are just trying to get me back after I escaped. Kidnapper. For some reason, the moment I thought that, I felt a strong sense of familiarity, almost like déjà vu. There was definitely a memory trying to rise to the surface. That made me more suspicious than ever. Something was definitely not right about this.
You're still the same as ever.
What does that mean?
Okay, fine. I'll give you an explanation now. The truth is...
Frickin' knew he was going to pull this nonsense. I knew you were going to come out with like, by the way, we've been like smooching for like 6 months. Wink. I'm gonna just take advantage of the fact you have amnesia. Like, ugh. Adrian, what are you doing? I don't understand you. This is all just to get back at Marc. Like, what is the plan? Sheesh. I didn't say, because I'm like, oh, no. No, it can't. It would be too cliche. There's no way. But I'm like, oh, Adrian's got the personality, though. Alright. Done puking, let's do this. Mark, come in and swoop in owl form and, like, claw this guy's eyes out for me, please.
I'm your boyfriend. We started dating a few weeks ago. You probably don't remember it, but we had a fight a couple of days ago.
Okay, clever. Trying to, sprinkle in a little bit of truth with the lie.
I convinced you to sneak out because I wanted to apologize, but we argued and you ran off. I've been looking all over for you because I was worried. That's why there aren't any search parties.
My boyfriend? Ugh. That same feeling of deja vu was back the moment he said something about arguing with my boyfriend. There were a few vague images of me talking to him. I was upset, and I grabbed my head, trying to will the memories to the surface. What he said seemed familiar, but I just didn't know if I believed him.
Nora?
I mean, if you just run, he's a vampire. Questioning him further is just going to... It's like you kind of believe, so no. We all know your heart belongs to a certain tall blonde who's snarky. I backed away, keeping a close watch on him as I did so. I don't believe you.
You don't believe that we're dating? Why not?
You're not my type. And even if we were dating, I'd never sneak out at night to hear an apology. How stupid. You want to apologize? Then just do it directly. He looked rather surprised at that. He burst out laughing. The sound was so loud in the otherwise quiet forest. I watched warily, wondering if he was just nuts. It could be.
Well, I wasn't sure you'd buy that story anyway. Even without your memories, you're still you.
I don't know what that means, but I want to know who you are.
I told you my name, and we really are classmates.
But the boyfriend part was a lie. He shrugged helplessly and gave me a deceptively innocent smile. What's really going on here? You know, don't you? Why else would you lie to me?
I told you I'd explain everything if you came with me.
I'm not going with you. I'm going home. Oh, that's some glowing red eyes.
Do you even know how to get home? You don't even know where you are.
At the very least, I know I'm not going with you. I backed away from him, wondering how I could get away. He didn't seem like he was going to just let me leave. Not if he was willing to lie to get me to go with him. Something was definitely wrong. Otherwise, he'd just explain things properly. For a split second, neither of us moved. Then he shifted slightly, and I knew he was about to lunge for me. I whirled around and broke into a run before he even moved.
Nora! Damn!
I heard the sounds of him crashing after me. I didn't get far. I almost didn't really expect to, but I was hoping anyway. Well, something heavy hit my back. Two arms circled me, preventing me from just pitching forward face first onto the ground. I struggled against him as one cold hand snaked in front of my face and clamped over my mouth, muffling the shriek. And suddenly I felt so weak. Oh, he's feeding on me! What's happening? My entire body went limp as my energy just evaporated. I felt Adrian's breath against my cheek as he pulled me tight against his chest. I didn't have the strength to fight anymore. I drooped against him, shuddering as he buried his face against my neck. So you got a taste for Spencer, and then was like, hey yo, if I changed his twin back, maybe I could get like double the yummies. Really? That's how it... Oh. Okay. The NPRA, I think that's what they're called, they really need to get this vampire situation sorted out because by infringing on their regular normal feeding, they're creating these crazy vampires that are just deprived of food. And then when they get like a little, it's just like, I'm going to eat everybody. And then things just spiral out of control. They really need to like sort that out.
I knew it. I knew I was right. You're just like him now. No, it's even better.
His voice sounded weird, thick, excited, scary. I whimpered in alarm as his hand slowly slid down my chin and over my neck, settling against my collarbone as if to hold me in place. Even though his grip around my shoulders had loosened, I could barely stand anyway. If not for him holding me up, I'd have already fallen. What are you...
Don't worry. You're definitely too precious to hurt. Just sleep for a bit. I'll be taking really good care of you from here on out.
I swear, if in one of these endings I end up in a freaking cage, I'm gonna lose my mind. Just putting that out there now. And with that, everything went black.